Well, let me call this morning's meeting of the Senate Judiciary Committee to order. I am presiding on behalf of Chairman Grassley today, and sadly for a tragic reason, 2 Iowa National Guard members were recently killed in a terrorist attack in Syria. And Chairman Grassley is with the President in Dover now to honor them as they return home. And I know I speak for the committee as well as the country when I say we're very grateful for their service and sacrifice. And we remember them and their families in prayer today as we prepare to honor their long service to this nation. On a happier note, today we will welcome a highly decorated panel of 4 nominees, 3 judicial nominees, and an assistant attorney general in the Department of Justice, and we'll hear more about them shortly. This is our final nominations hearing of 2025, and I just want to point out as we start that the committee has advanced 84 excellent nominees to the Senate floor this year. Thanks to my colleagues for that, and thank you, of course, to President Trump for choosing thoughtful, hardworking, and dedicated public servants as judges, federal prosecutors, and senior public officials. Well, let me just ask a question or two of you all as the time permits. Let me start with you, Judge Benton, if I could. According to the U.S. Sentencing Commission, I noticed that they recently released stats about the sentencing matters that most often come before the Western District of Missouri. I'm sure these won't surprise you. Drug crimes account for about 43% of that docket. Firearm offenses, 24%, and then fraud, theft, and embezzlement offenses, about 10%. So just tell the committee, are these offenses that you have seen before? Are these the sort of sentences that you're familiar with giving before? Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Yes, I have seen nearly all of those cases in state court, and I have handled sentencing hearings on nearly all of those, if not all of those. And the sentencing guidelines in Missouri, the factors that you look at when deciding whether or what sentence is appropriate to give someone in Missouri are nearly identical to what you look at as a federal judge.
So you have quite a bit of experience in administering a guideline system that is very close to the federal system and in presiding over all of the relevant topics and cases that you would see as a federal judge. Is that fair to say?
That is.
I said earlier in my introduction that you have presided over approximately 250 sentencings as a state court trial judge. What experience have you gleaned from that? I mean, obviously you can't talk about the substance of any of those cases, but what have you learned from that will prepare you to do this job if you're confirmed?
I've learned that you look at each case individually. You give each case the time that it deserves. You look at the crime itself, and you look at the factors behind that crime. You look at the severity of that crime, and then you take care to look at the defendant and the characteristics of that defendant. You carefully read that pre-sentence report, and you go into every sentencing hearing prepared, and you also hold a hearing and you listen to all parties and all witnesses who wish to speak.
You are very familiar with the inside of a courtroom from behind the judge's bench. I think it's fair to say you're also very familiar with the inside of a courtroom from behind counsel's table. You were a prosecutor for a number of years. I think I said in my introduction that you tried 50 cases to verdict. That's a lot. Tell us about your experience as a prosecutor, seeing it from the other side of the bench, as it were. How has that informed your judgment? How has that affected your practice, your service as a judge, having seen it from the other side?
As a prosecutor, I was fortunate to first chair jury trials, to first chair bench trials, to deal with victims, to carefully look at cases, to talk to opposing counsel. And when you see it from that perspective, when you're in the courtroom nearly daily, working on cases, working in front of judges, on the other side as a judge, you understand the process a bit better, and you come to that process, you approach that process from a position of experience.
Very good.
You believe Christian marriage provides that women have to be subservient to their husbands?
Senator, I think I was quoting either a passage in Ephesians or those are not my words. Those are words in the scriptures.
Well, you said them. Do you believe them?
Senator, I believe every word of the Bible.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Olson, Can I just follow up on that, since you raised interesting questions, but let me just ask you, you're an ordained elder in your church, is that correct?
In my former church, I've actually transitioned to a different denomination, but in a bit of a transition period, I still maintain my ordination. We'll resolve that through the Presbyterian order at some point in the near future.
Well, let me just ask you this. If you are confirmed to this position, what is the law, rule, and authority that you will be bound to follow as a member of the judiciary?
That is the United States Constitution, applicable federal and state statutes, and binding precedent.
Can you, in good conscience, consistent with your religious beliefs, including the ones that Senator Kennedy was just asking you about, can you, in good conscience, submit to the United States Constitution, all relevant laws, precedents, and so forth, and apply those faithfully if confirmed?
Absolutely, Senator.
Can you do that without reservation?
Without reservation. That is the oath that I will take.
Would that be your highest legal authority as a member of the judiciary, should you be confirmed?
My highest legal authority is to my nation, and that our nation is governed by the United States Constitution.
And the supreme law of this nation, which is positive law, which is the United States Constitution, statutes and precedents, and the relevant order.
That's correct.
All right, very good. I think that concludes our questions for today. So thank you to the nominees for your testimony. Written questions for the record may be submitted until December the 29th at 5 p.m. And with that, the hearing is adjourned.